Hello, hello. It's very late. It's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I wasn't sure what to do. There were several things I could have done, but due to summer starting not too long ago, it is very hot, especially the fact that the main AC unit hasn't been working for close to a month now, and although I do have like my wall AC unit, but because it's in the living room, can only really do so much in my room. So it's warm, and when it's warm, my head gets warm. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, hello, this is a tier list, another one of mine. Thing in my nose too. So yeah, this is another tier list. The last one I made was the anime guys tier list. I don't know, I just like doing this. The main reason why I do this is just because I just enjoy doing this. I'm curious to see how it would look from like my characters that I really like. So same rules apply. You know, there's 5 tiers. It's pretty much, it's not a top 100, but it's like a 100 favorite character list. It's not going to be in any order, like I said. Again, I did that with the anime series, but aside from like the top tier, which is the best, aside from that being in order, the rest will not be. But you know what I mean, like, you know, it's like if one character, like if there's 2 characters on one tier, like very cool, and you know, it's like this character and that character on the same one, I'm not going to have them in a specific order, like, oh, this character is like top very cool, while this one is like less very cool than that very cool. I'm not going to do that. I think the only difference from how I rate, I think the only difference on how I worded these things is that for the last one, I make it sound like a negative thing. Like, it's still good because obviously these characters are in my top 100, with the exception of this tier. Oh, actually, wait, I forgot. Now you can see the mouse. I think so. But, yeah, so this tier, I mentioned with my others, with some of my other previous tier list, the lowest tier, the lowest rank kind of boils down to, like, they're either barely in my top 100, or, you know, for the most part, they could, you know, they could arguably be switched with other characters. Which is why it's called arguably on here, meaning that they could be in my top 100, but at the same time, I can't really guarantee it. Like, you know, other characters could have switched with them, so take that in mind. Other characters could have been switched with, you know, these characters I add on here. Some of them are really weird. Again, these aren't perfect. This was kind of difficult to make for the guys, but even for the girls, it was a bit of a struggle for different reasons. Also, sorry if you hear like a sound in the back, like a very quiet sound from my mic. Again, I have to have the AC on or else I'm going to be sweating. It's very hot where I live. Earlier in the afternoon, it was like 95 degrees, but it said that it felt like 105. Yeah, where I live sucks when it comes to the heat. I like to call it, we have cool winters and hot-ass summers. Okay, but to be fair, we do have cold, you know, days in the winter. I would say it does go as low as like high 20s, like high 20s, low 30s and stuff, and it can be quite chilly. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I decided on doing this because I want to stay up until 5, and I don't know what to do to make that last, so tier list. There's a lot that I want to say. Again, like I said, it's okay if you just lose interest after a few minutes because I'm just rambling on. It's like, shut the hell up and get to your damn opinions I don't care about. I understand. but yeah. Also, I don't know if the music is a little too low. Maybe I can turn it up a little bit. Alright, I just don't want it to go any higher than peaking yellow. Okay. So as before, for the best tier, it's gonna be my top 10 favorite characters, because I don't want too many characters to be on here, because it would kind of ruin the value of this tier. Love them. It's a very respectable tier. These are characters I absolutely love. These, it's a very complimenting tier. Very Cool is also a very, is also a complimenting tier. Like, at the very least, these 3 tiers, they are 100% in my top 100. Really I would say just about all of them, they're definitely in my top 100, but, at the very least, these are characters that, even though most of them are guaranteed to be in my top 100, they're definitely on the low end, rank 100 to, 85 or something. And then arguably on here are literally characters that could be in my top 100, but they can also easily be switched with other characters. But again, don't take this as insulting for the most part, because if I thought about putting them on here, then that's saying something out of all the male characters. Also, I didn't mention with my anime characters, but some characters I really wish I could have added in my male or female anime character tier list were characters like Imperfect Cell or Nanachi, for example. Those are 2 examples. Nanachi from Made in Abyss, which I've been watching that again. I love Nanachi so much. And Imperfect Cell also I love. The problem is they're genderless or ambiguous characters, so because of that, they can't fit in either tier list. And I'm having the same problem with this one. Just to say, if I had to have Nanachi if I had to pick a gender to put Nanachi in, Nanachi would have been in the Love Him tier. Same thing with Imperfect Cell, would have been in the Love Him tier. But because they don't have a specific gender, they can't be on there. I'm having the same problem with this one. I really wanted to add characters like Enderman, Deoxys, White Pikmin, Shy Guy, Dry Bones. These are characters that are definitely my top 100, but can't because apparently the bitch Shy Guy is not a guy. Apparently. Just shame. So, also, I didn't want to make this too complicated. For the most part, I didn't want to add regular enemies, which there's no point because a lot of enemies just don't have a specified gender. And I don't think many of them would really, I don't know, make it far. I put the frames to 24, so I don't know if the mouse or frame rate's going to look a little. I just didn't want the CPU to go too high. So I think I've said everything that needs to be said. As usual, you're only going to see the first row, so yeah. Enjoy, Felix. There you go. Let's see. Yep, here's the first row. And I gotta say, I hate hearing this word lately, but I'm just gonna say it ironically. What a banger this is. Geez, man, we already got my number 1 already. If you've seen my descriptions, you know Zero is not just my favorite video game character, not my favorite. Okay, I'll say it once I get to him, but yeah, he's right there. And look, his older brother is here to start. Oh yeah, and one more thing. So, there is one rule, and this is a similar case with anime characters. There are multiple anime characters I really wanted to add on the list, but I couldn't because the rule is I have to at least see the series they are in. If I haven't, they don't count. A perfect example was for my female anime girl tier list, I would have absolutely put Urza Scarlet on there. She was one of my inspirations for my character in one of my series. I love her design. She's very beautiful. She's a very powerful character. She has different forms. I really like her, but I've never seen Fairy Tail, so because of that, I couldn't have her on there, but if I could have, she would have been in the Love 'em tier. Same thing with this one. If I haven't played the game they're in, I can't have them on here. So, for example, what's a series, for example? Like a character that I really like, but they just couldn't be on here because I haven't played the game they are in. I can't think of an example on the top of my head. I could do it for girls, definitely, because there are some girls I couldn't add, but... Which I'll go into that when I do the anime girl tier list. I'm doing this one before the video game girl tier list. But yeah. Okay, anyway, let's get started. Okay, so starting with Bass from the Mega Man series. Bass is... Bass. That's so stupid. Anyway, so yeah, it's like out of classic Mega Man, Proto Man, and Bass. Proto Man was always my favorite of the three, but I always had Bass like second. Like I like him more than classic Mega Man. Would I like him more than my favorite variation of Mega Man? Maybe. I really like Bass. He's a really cool character. For some reason, my favorite of him was like in the Mega Man Power Fighters games. Also, just a heads up, you can kind of see that his head is a little cut off a bit. I tried my best to crop this stuff before I added it onto my computer. So yeah, like Luigi's face just kind of, but you can get, you know, hopefully, could have done a better job. But, you know, yeah, you just, yeah, absolutely, goes in the Love 'em tier. I love Bass. He is a really cool character. I really wish he was in more games. Hopefully, maybe in the new Mega Man game, you'll see him. Now, this is Mega Man music right now. Alright, Fierce DD Link. Okay, I'm kind of cheating with this, but at the same time, I kind of cheated because I didn't want to have more than one of the same character, but to be fair, like how do I put this? So, I did this with the female video game characters where I added two of the, technically, they're different characters, but they both have the same name. They're like different incarnations. Same thing with this. There's two Links on here, but they're not the same Link, and I love Fierce DD Link so much. He's so cool! And I'm okay with him just being a Majora's Mask. His design is amazing. His Helix sword is like just so cool. He's so powerful, and you know, he's just really awesome to use against bosses, and especially against the final boss. There's not much to say about him. He's a pretty mysterious character because, you know, Fierce DD, you know, like with the other masks where you transform into like the Deku Kid, the Goro, and the Zora, they were all beings that, you know, the masks were, how do I put this? It's like the masks were once living beings, and then they passed away and became in the form of a mask that Link could put on and pretty much almost like become them. And this is also pretty much the implication with the Fierce DD Link, where this deity kind of took the form into the mask, like apparently the deity like died or something, or was turned into a mask, and Link possesses that power of like almost a god. And I just think I'm biased. I'm so damn biased. I love Fierce DD Link. Alright. Fox McCloud. Yeah, I like Fox. He's a fox. Foxes are pretty cool. Yeah, there's some of these characters, like Fierce Deeding, Link Base, yeah, these were absolutely, like, when I was trying to think of all the games and everything, I had to literally think of all the games I ever played. I had to look at all my games, digitally, physically, everything, and hopefully, well, I'm pretty sure I missed a few, like I did with the Anime Girl tier list, Genkai, and Eri. Probably do this for the game characters, but I'm not gonna know until later. Until I finally just remember. I'm like, damn, I forgot to add Smokaloo. So yeah, Fox, yeah, he was like one of the multiple characters on here where, like, after looking at all the games, I was like, damn, I already looked at all the games and I only have like 3/4 of what I need. Okay, I guess any character that I contemplated, they gotta be added on here, and Fox was one of them. Don't get me wrong, I really like Fox. You know, I like him in the video games and Smash Brothers and stuff. He's a really cool character. Like, come on, he's a fox that goes to space. That's like the second coolest kind of animal to go into space. Foreshadowing. But no, I really like Fox. Like, yeah, he's really cool. I really like him. Definitely goes into the really like. Yeah, it's like, I would definitely put him in my top 100, but I feel like he would barely be on there. But definitely on there, like, compared to Mario. Like, just as a heads up, Mario isn't on this tier list, even though he kind of should have been, because considering some characters, it's just silly to think that, like, man, you put this character above Mario. It's like, I was just like hell-bent on not wanting to add Mario in here, because even though I really like him, I don't like the idea of him being in my top 100. Yeah. Let's see, how does this look so far? It's looking pretty good. So, like, you know, I like Fox more than Mario, definitely, but yeah. Now we got 2 Mega Man's characters. Snake Man, I'm sorry, I have to say this again. So, this was the case, I'll say this now, for the Video Game Girl tier list, I had to hold back on the Touhou characters because there was just too many of them that I wanted to add on there. Like, I had to add no more than 10 because I really wanted to add 5 more, but I couldn't. This was the case for Mega Man. If it was up to me, I could have added 20. I love so many Mega Man characters that are guys. Even there's even quite a bit of girl Mega Man characters that are on my tier list that you'll see later on, but, well, I haven't made it yet, but, you know, future me. But yeah, for the Mega Man guy characters, my god, it was painful to only narrow it down to 10. But Snake Man was one of them. He is one of my favorite Robot Masters. I love his stage, I love his theme. He's a snake, he's cool. I had to sacrifice some of these Robot Masters. Oh man. But I do really like Snake Man, I really, really do. Do I like him as much as, like, Fierce Deedee or Base? No. Actually, if we're just, like, okay, I can't just count, like, the song or the stage. Like, if I had to count all the things about it, then yeah, he could go to the Love Him tier. But we're just talking about the character. Then he's in the very cool tier. Again, he's one of my favorites. I could have arguably replaced him for another character which could have been on the same thing, but again, I had to limit Mega Man characters. It sucks. I had some inappropriate thoughts with this character just now. I'm so sorry. Did I have to say it? No, but I'm trying to be honest here. Is that all that matters? Isn't that all that matters? My Nanachi figure is right here, like a foot away from me. Just have it right here. I don't know why I had to say that, but anyway, Alpaizo. Yeah, I had a crush on him when I first played Mega Man Zero. To be fair, I thought Alpaizo was a girl, When I found out he was a guy, it's like I was mixed, because it's like on one hand, I was like, I think when I found out he was a guy in my teens, it was like on one hand, it's like, but he's still damn cute, but at the same time, I thought he was a girl. It's like, I gotta get used to it, but okay, you know, instead of just having a crush on a girl character, I'm now having to have a crush on a guy character. I am now used to it. But yeah, Alpaizo. I was contemplating on removing him because, again, I could only add 10 characters, but because he's only in Mega Man Zero 10, minor spoiler, but I won't go into any more than that, but I immediately liked Alpaizo. I love his design. I just really, like, when it comes to Mega Man Zero lore, oh my gosh, like a few years ago, I was like so interested in Mega Man Zero lore. Like, there is just like a lot of stuff about him. Like, you don't get any of this in the game, but it's like, if you want, you could just look online and you could just see like his whole backstory in great detail, and it just feels like a whole like short story with him, and I love it. I really do. Yeah, I could almost put him here, but because I had a crush on him, he goes up there. My god. Oh, great, another pretty boy. And then another pretty boy, too. Dang, are you trying to make me feel funny right now? Okay. So this character is... yeah, he just doesn't have a name. He's just called the Nahobino. The Nahobino. The jalapeno. So this is the main character in Shin Megami Tensei 5. Shin Megami Tensei V. Yeah, damn. Just as soon as I saw him, like back, I don't know when they first showed him, like maybe like 2019, 2020, but damn, when I first saw him, I was just like, I knew it was a boy. I questioned if it was a girl, but I knew it had to have been a boy. And I was just like, damn it. And it was during that time where I was kind of questioning my sexuality, because throughout my teens I was kind of confused about it, and I was like in denial. But yeah, by my like early 20s, it was becoming more obvious, and this little bastard had to remind me more of it. So, so the Nahobino. I love his design so much. I love his long blue hair. I love his freaking, like, glittery blue sword that comes out of his hand. He looks so damn cool running. He's just so freaking cool. And I just really like him. I don't know if he's my favorite, like, Shin Megami series main character. He is when it comes to the main series, but there is another character that I like from a spin-off that I don't know which one I like more. I might like the other character a bit more, because one problem with Shin Megami, a lot of Shin Megami series characters, even like spin-offs, is that I don't like main characters in RPGs when they're just so emotionless. Like, they are just like a puppet that you just talk for them. With that being said, no, I really like... He's definitely in the very cool tier. Got plenty of very cool characters so far. Which I can definitely say that. Like, I really do like all of these characters so far. Because the idea is, these characters are like, oh yeah, absolutely, they're definitely a bit into my top 100. While really like is like, okay, like, you know, they're barely a bit in my top 100, and with these characters, it's like, okay, I could have switched them out with other characters, but they're on here regardless. Dunban. Yeah, he's actually my favorite Xenoblade character, for similar reasons, even though my mom commented that he has a pig nose. Looks like he has a pig nose in the Wii game. I still find him pretty attractive. He's a really cool character. I think when I played Xenoblade Chronicles, he was like, aside from Shulk, he was like the second character I use the most. And man, when I played that game, I referenced some of these characters' lines so much. Like Donbon and Ricky. But, I don't know why I liked him so, I don't know, it's like, I can't keep saying like the last two. It's like, yeah, I think he's handsome or whatever, you know? But, you know, I really enjoyed playing as him. I thought he was a cool character. He's the older brother to the character... What's her name? Fiora? And, you know, in the beginning of the game, he actually was wielding the Monado, which was very impressive because anyone else that would touch it would just get killed. So the fact that he was able to, like, hold his own wielding it was like very impressive. He's a very powerful character. He's a very cool character. I just really like him. Now, would I put him in love him tier? Ah, man, I'm actually having to think about this. I'm probably gonna rearrange some of these characters, but okay, I have to ask myself: do I like Donbon more than Base? No. Do I like Donbon as much as these three characters? Yeah. And do I like Donbon more than Fox? Yeah. So, okay. I guess he goes into very cool. Quote. I really like Quote. I like his design. He's from Cave Story, which I really need to play again. I swear I will play it this year. I think to my knowledge, it is the last... To my knowledge, it's the last game that I have very high on my favorite games of all time, like top 50, that I have not played in 10 plus years. I've been wanting to play it for years now, but I just been having trouble. Yeah, Quote, you know, Cave Story is, you know, it's in a special place in my heart, because I went through a huge phase playing that game. And this was the only time I really ever worked on the game was, I think, like late July to early August. I just remember that I beat the game 3 times. I was super into it. I remember my former best friend, I'll just call him Chris O'Neill for funsies. I remember when I was like 11 or something, or... Well, the thing is, I don't recall having a DSi yet, but I had to because he didn't start coming to my house. I don't know, but basically, I think I was like around 11, and he showed me Cave Story for the first time, and I thought the game looked cool. And I didn't get it until a few years later, and, you know, again, late July of 2015. And it was right before I like to call my first Great Depression. I think this is the last game I worked on before that happened, because I was about to start 10th grade soon. So whenever I think of Cave Story, it kind of makes me feel pretty sad, but at the same time I had very fond memories of it. Now I'm just talking about the game. What about the character? It's hard to say. I'm kind of mixed on, like, you know, should I add him here or here? Because would I say that I like him as much as the characters on here? No, like, he kind of feels like he's more like right here, but I do really like his design. But at the same time, there's not much to say about him. He's just connected to a game that I really like, and he's the main character. The thing is, I can kind of go back and forth. For now, I'll just put him right here. Like, at best, he could be up here, but I just feel like he's more accurately right here. Which, that reminds me of another thing I needed to mention. So, unlike, like, the anime tier list, where that's kind of easy to do because, you know, most anime characters talk. They, you know, they talk. Like, they have, like, parts in the story. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of hard to rank some of these characters when they just don't talk. Or if they're in a game that has little to no story. I'm not saying that with Quote, but it's like there's some characters on here where they don't really talk much, and they're in games where there's not much to it in terms of plot. So it was hard to like think of characters I really liked, because it felt like design really had to be more of a factor compared to like the anime character tier list. But yeah. Okay, just checking. Lanky as fuck, dude! Sorry, I just have to say that. I'll explain. Okay. Cafe. This one's a strange one, so this might be one of the most... how do I put this? Okay, I can't say that because Fierce Deity is like an extremely minor character, but Cafe is definitely like one of the most minor characters on here. Like, he's not like one of the main characters in the series, although he's not like a random NPC in Majora's Mask. Like, yeah, if you just play the game bare minimum, he's just a character you can completely ignore. But if you do side quests, he's actually like one of the biggest characters in terms of the side quest storylines. Because the biggest side quest in the game is this multi-part story side quest with Cafe and Anju. And I've always liked him when I was a kid. I like his purple hair. I love him when he's wearing the Keaton mask. I remember even having a profile of him on my YouTube channel back in 2023 when I was playing Majora again. There's not much to say about him. There's not, like, without going into... Okay, I guess just spoilers, but the whole thing with him was that he was going to marry Anju soon, like, after the whole festival they were doing at Clocktown, but, you know, Skull Kid caused a lot of, like, mischief around the land of Termina, when, I don't know how the heck he did this so fast, because he was only gone for, like, 10 minutes, and yet this dude has somehow caused all of this to happen. But apparently one of the things he did was he turned Cafe into a child, just because he thought it would be lolzy. And because of it, Cafe just couldn't bring himself to show his face to Anju, because he's just like, I'm a child, she wouldn't want to marry me now. But that's not the case. Anju still loves him. And, you know, Cafe's just kind of just doesn't know that. Yeah, this one's kind of a weird one, because it's like, where would I even put him? There's not much. Like, this is solely based on design and just memories of looking at this picture of him all the time when I was little. Like, I'm not going to put him, like, on the same level as Fierce Deity, but that doesn't stop me from putting him as very cool. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but, you know, it's a minor character, but it's just the design, and, you know, like, again, the storyline with him is very sweet. Geno. He was actually one of the first ones I added because I was looking at my Super Nintendo games first, like, okay, what are some guy characters I like from my Super Nintendo games? Geno. Yeah, Geno's very cool. Sadly, he's only like in one game, but at least in that one game, he is really cool. You know, I really like his design. He has a lot of cool moves. Weirdly enough, I think my favorite thing about him is just the fact that he just has some really awesome moves. This is gonna make some people upset, but I might just put him right there. You might think, really? He's like below these characters? I mean, like, I do really like Geno. I don't know, how do I describe this? Like, if you had to ask me, like, over 10 years... No, never 10 years ago. If you asked me, like, a bit over... If you asked me a bit over 10 years ago where I would put him, he would probably be up here. If not, no, he would be up here. But for some reason, I've just kind of grown to like Geno just slightly less over time. I think just because he's only been in one game, even though that really should not be said, considering that all these characters have been in one game. But sometimes it's a complaint, and then sometimes it's not. But, no. But like I said, I could kind of go back and forth. It's kind of hard to say. Cloud Stripe from Final Fantasy VII. Apparently, I just really like a lot of the main characters in Final Fantasy because you already see Zidane right over there. But, I actually skipped Cloud because I just kind of felt like I already added too many Final Fantasy guy characters. But I was struggling a little bit on who to add. And then I was just like, fine, I'll add Cloud because he is really cool and yada yada yada. However, I would put him right here. I do really like Cloud. I would put him in my top 100. He's really cool. He's not my favorite main Final Fantasy character. Like, damn, he's not even my top 3. But that just shows that I really do like most of the main characters in Final Fantasy, like the star character, if that makes sense. Yeah. Sub-Zero. It's weird putting him on here because, to tell you the truth, I'm not a fan of Mortal Kombat, but at the same time I did play, like, some of the games when I was a kid, and, yeah, I don't know. He's definitely in my top 100 because he is my favorite Mortal Kombat character. And I always liked him because I always, ice powers. Yeah, there's not really much to say. Like, I know some of his stories because of, Sub-Zero, what was it called? Mortal Kombat Anthology? Or Mortal Kombat Mythology. But, yeah, he's definitely in my top 100, but he kind of goes, like, right there. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go, we finally made it. The man himself. Zero, my hero. So, if you've seen my descriptions, you already know that he is my favorite. Well, okay, now I can finally say this. He is not my favorite Mega Man X character. He's not my favorite Mega Man character. He's not my favorite video game male character. He's not just my favorite video game character. He is my favorite fictional character, period. With an asterisk. But, yeah. Not from the X series, not from Mega Man series in general, not from video games, not as a male character, not for video games, just in general. He is, like, if I had to do my top 100 favorite fictional characters ever, he would be number 1, because Zero is number 1, or number 0, which I think is even cooler. So, he's up there. Absolutely number 1. Why is he number 1 without me even describing it? I just love everything about him. He's cool, his design is cool, he has a lot of cool moves, he's cool to play as, just cool. I could go on for a while about him, like the fact that I've spent just so many hours of lore about Zero and the X series, Zero series, and heck, even just ZX and stuff. I just absolutely love this guy. Loved him since I was 4 years old. Yeah, he ain't walking and he ain't moving. I don't know why I'm talking like this. is a Luigi boy. Okay, so I thought about this before doing this tier list. I don't know where I put Luigi, to be honest, because I've always known who my two favorite male video game characters are, but 3 through 10, I have no idea, so this should be very interesting. That's the tricky thing with Luigi, because I truly don't know if he belongs in the best tier. He's 100% in the love him tier. I've always loved Luigi since I was little, and, you know, like, I've always loved the character. I've always liked him way more than Mario, and I've always felt bad for him because I think he deserves a lot more attention. I like, you know, like him, and I like his series of Luigi's Mansion. You know, Luigi's Mansion 2 isn't, like, great or anything, but I still think it's good. And Luigi's Mansion 1 is one of my favorite games ever, and 3 is great. And, you know... And again, like, you know, out of Mario and Luigi, I would always prefer Luigi. And I've always found him to be a funny character. And, you know, also, honestly, kind of more brave than Mario, because even though he is a scary cat a lot of the times... You know, he always tries to face his fears when his brother's in danger, which I kind of think that's cooler than Mario, because, I don't know, what's more heroic? Someone that doesn't have any fears to save someone they care about, or someone that has fears, and even though they may show some hesitation because of their fears, they still push through it because they want to save the person they care about. And I think that's pretty cool. So... again, it's hard to see looking at some of these characters and seeing how that many characters going above Luigi, because I absolutely love Luigi. Like, in terms of Mario characters, he might be my favorite. So, you know, honestly, you know, he might be in my top 10. Again, I hate that his face is cropped a little bit, but sorry. But yeah, he might be in my top 10. Okay, so if you don't know who this is, oh my gosh, I'm having trouble remember his last name at the moment. I can't remember who's, wow, crap. Is Hayabusa Ryu from Street Fighter's last name, or is that's his last name? Ah, crap. I don't remember if his name is Ryu, but I don't remember if his last name is Hayabusa. Anyway, this is Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. Specifically the NES version of Ryu. I've never played any of the modern Ninja Gaiden series, but I've always loved playing the NES trilogy. And luckily, because the Ninja Gaiden games on NES is actually some of the most story-heavy games on the NES, there's quite a bit to say. And that is Ryu is stopping shadow demons of darkness from ruling the world. But I actually really like Ryu. This doesn't count, but I did watch the OVA that takes place after the 3 Ninja Gaiden games. When did I watch it? It was like maybe late 2023. That was really fun to watch. He was really cool in that. I don't know where I would put him. Like, I wouldn't put him like up here or anything, but he's definitely in my top 100. He's really cool. Like, I will admit that I won't put him above like Gino, maybe even Quote, or maybe like most of these characters, but he's definitely in the really like category. Galactonite. Oh boy. Galactonite. So yeah, the whole thing about this character is that, so in the storyline of Meta Nightmare in Kirby Superstar Ultra, Meta Knight wanted to find a worthy opponent, and he traveled across the galaxy, if not universe, maybe I think just the galaxy, and he found this machine that could wish for anything, and Meta Knight wished for, like, I wish to fight the strongest warrior in the galaxy. And the machine's like, okay, but before I summon him, I'm gonna hype him up. He, I'm gonna hype him up. I'm gonna make him seem really intimidating. And in Planet Robobot, they, mentioned that Galactonite even destroyed a planet or two. So, oh man, we got a planet buster on our hands. So, I've always loved Galactonite. I think his design is really cool. Honestly, I actually think it's just as good as Meta Knight's design, to be honest. I just love the pink with the white and the yellow horns and the shield, and like, I love his javelin. For some reason I have a thing for javelins. And he has like wings, freaking angel wings. Like, this is a holy knight right here. This is an archangel. But yeah, Meta Knight. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be kind of dumb. It's gonna be kind of dumb. I think I put him up here. It's the same thing with Fierce Deity. Like, there's not a lot, but the design is just so freaking cool. And he's connected to a character that I love so much, and like, he's in a few games. Like, he's in Kirby Superstar Ultra, he's in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Planet Robobot. You barely see him in Star Allies, which I remember being really upset to see him show up, because when I saw him I was like, oh my gosh, it's Galacta, and then he just gets disintegrated by Morphinite, and I'm just like, oh. But still, he's really cool, and I remember when they added that skin of Galactonite and Meta Knight for, like, what was it, like Smash Brothers U? Oh yeah, I used that skin a lot of the time. Just the design is so cool. I even made a drawing of him on Scratch years ago, which I did make drawings for a lot of these characters before, but maybe not a lot, but, like these two, of course. Base as well. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I have to tell myself, well, do I like Galactonite more than these characters? If we're talking about design, bitch, yes. Moving on. Simon Belmont. You know what? I think what made him definitely in the top 100 is the fact that his name is Simon, and that's my middle name. Any character that's named Simon, I'm just like automatically like, oh my gosh, the character's so cool. But yeah, the first, well, not first in terms of story, but in terms of like video games, yeah, the first Vampire Hunter, he was in multiple games: Castlevania 2, some remakes like Castlevania 4, Castlevania Chronicles. I am fine with his design where he has like the red hair. I think he looks really cool because of that art. And even though people are mixed about it, I still think he looks cool in that one design in, what was it called, Castlevania Judgment. But, I'm down for Barbarian Man. I definitely think he's not my favorite Belmont, but he is still really cool. So, he goes right there. I just realized that I haven't added any character on here, which I think the whole point is that these are characters that, like, oh yeah, I would absolutely switch these with other characters. Like, they are either barely my top 100 or they could definitely be switched with other characters. Simon, no, like, again, he I'll be honest, he could be on here if his name wasn't Simon, because his name is Simon, he goes right there. I know that's dumb logic, but yeah. So next up is Silver, which I actually kept missing him multiple times when thinking of characters on this list. But then once I realized, like, wait, his name is Silver, of course. Like, heck, there's two characters right here named Silver. We'll get to him in a bit. Yeah, there's multiple Sonic characters on here, and there were absolutely two of them I could have added on this list, but I really just didn't want to keep adding too many Sonic characters. I won't mention them for spoilers' sake, but no, there was like 3 characters I wanted to add, but because I already added like several Sonic characters, which, to be honest, I think I really should have just switched some of these characters, but they are at the same time my top 100, and it's just, ugh. But regardless, no, Silver is, you know, he's definitely in my top 100 because I really love his design and the fact that his name is Silver, but it does suck that the game he debuted in isn't good, and he never really had another time to shine compared to Shadow. So, like, it's like I want to put him higher, but it just really sucks. Like, if there was just like more, if there was just more like spotlight for him, like, you know, Geno, one of the main characters, like coolest character in that game. Cloud, main character of a great game. Sub-Zero, freaking ice powers, and he's like the coolest character in a series. Ryu, trilogy NES games I really like. Simon, his name is freaking Simon. Quote, game that I have a personal place in my heart. Fox, it's a freaking fox in space. Silver, there's just like, his name is Silver. His design's really cool, but I just can't put him above them. He just kind of fits in with these characters. But Count Bleck, this is the main antagonist in Super Paper Mario, and I've always loved this character. He's a really cool villain. If not, he might actually be my favorite character in Super Paper Mario. I don't really know much. I don't really know how. I can't really say much else because I don't want to say any major spoilers, because there is a lot I could say in terms of spoilers. So, I kind of have to just stop there. I'm trying to think of where I would put him, because he's only in one game. Oh my god, Dobby, ugh. There's like ads on the right that I had to like stretch the screen to make sure you didn't have to see because it keeps changing, but that is a horrible Lego Dobby figure. It's creepy. I feel bad putting him in very cool, but that's not, that is a compliment. Like, any character that I put as very cool or higher is quite a compliment. I don't know, I contemplate on putting him as love him, but then if I do that, I have to tell myself, do I like him as much as these 3? Almost. Do I like him as much as these characters? Yeah. Even if I say a bit more, I don't think it's enough. Yeah. Alright, next up is Alucard from the Castlevania series. This is one character that I didn't really start liking him a lot more until I finally played Symphony of the Night in October of 23. Like, the only game I really got to, see him in was, the games with Soma in it and Castlevania 3. But, yeah, he is really cool. I love his design. He's really cool in Symphony of the Night. But you know what? I'll admit, he might actually be the first character. Like, maybe he's the first one. I don't know. It's like this art of him does look really cool. Like, he is really cool in Symphony of the Night. But I don't know. That's about it, man. It's like, I don't care for him much in Castlevania 3. I don't care for him much in Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow. The only game really is Symphony of the Night, which he is really cool, but there's like a lot of other main characters in Castlevania I like more than Alucard. I just don't know if I could put him in the really like, again, I really like him in Symphony of the Night. Damn it, but at the same time he says Dark Metamorphosis. Dark Metamorphosis. Kind of going back and forth with this. Kind of just want to keep him there. It's kind of hard to figure it out. Captain Falcon. Chess. So, I think Captain Falcon's pretty cool. I didn't finally really get into the F-Zero games until 2023, but I did play GX, and he was like the main one that I used, and oh my gosh, he is so funny in the storyline for that game. And of course, Smash Brothers, you know, I always thought he was a cool character. He's definitely in my top 100, but I don't like him that much, but I do really like Captain Falcon. He's really cool. Yes! He's lanky as fuck, dude! He knows what's up. Okay, now I can explain the joke. This, you might think this is a joke, but no, I actually, like, Lanky Kong is probably my second or third favorite monkey, or, like, character in Donkey Kong. He's an orangutan, but, so, I think at the time, because I think I played, I'm trying to think, I played Donkey Kong 64, not for the first time, but like me trying to actually work on and beat the game back in, like, it was the summer of 2016, and I could have sworn that these videos came out in 2015, I can't remember, but yeah, I just remembered there was like a line in one of the JonTron Starcade videos where it's like, it was in the one where it was like Star Wars chess, and it's like when Yoda was being shown as like, you know, one of the characters you could play as, John was like, oh, Yoda looks like he's been smoking some serious weed, dude. And then that's when he says something like, you know, that dude knows what's up. And for some reason, I just made my own version where every time I play as Lanky Kong, every time he shows up, I'm just like, he's lanky as fuck, dude! He knows what's up. Because he's called Lanky Kong because of his lanky arms, and it's so dumb. But I said that every single time I played as him. It was a commitment. And you might think, well, how many times did you play as him? Probably 100 times. And every time I see him, I always just think, lanky as fuck, dude! I really like Lanky Kong, and that is an insult. That is a huge insult. It's like Alucard. You argue Alucard is on here? See, this is one of those moments where, really? Lanky Kong above Alucard? I think that's pretty funny because I swear I actually mean it. It's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. And it's just orangutan intestines. Ugh. Also, for some reason, out of all the monkey species, orangutans, and dang it, now I'm saying it wrong. Orangutans, forget it. Orangutans and pygmy marmosets are my two favorite monkey species. Alright. Bowser! Maybe this will teach that Clizzard King from playing with the dwarves. Bowser. This one's a little tricky. Bowser's actually one of my favorite video game villains. It's like, it depends. It's like, if we're talking like Bowser in general, I kind of want to put him on very cool. But when he's at his best, I actually put him in the love him tier. Like, specifically Bowser Inside Story, Paper Mario, mainly those two. Those are like my two favorite games with him. Paper Mario 1 and Bowser Inside Story. And the rest of the games, he's more like on the very cool side of things. Actually, I don't know. I think I do really like him in Super Paper Mario. I'm just saying the two that are my favorites of him. I like him in Paper Mario because I just like the fact that it's the first time that he actually kicks Mario's ass. And he actually does come off as a threat because when he gets the Star Rod, it's like, it's like the idea is like, we just can't beat him. And it's like, is there, and the only chance he could even have is to save all the Star Spirits, and then even towards the end of the game, it's not enough. So I just kind of like Bowser's part in that game. I think they did a great job. I don't know why that paused for a second. And then in Bowser Inside Story, I arguably like him even more in that game. He is pretty much the main character in that game, and I just absolutely love him in that game. Like, pretty much a good chunk of the setting in the game is just inside of his body, which is so much fun. So this is a bit of a strange one. It's like, if I had to just count him as a whole, I would put him in very cool, but I want to count him at his best. If I'm counting him in the games where he's at his best, I actually want to put him up here. I really like Bowser a lot. So yeah, when it comes to like some of the RPG games, he is just phenomenal. Alright, Zidane. Even though I haven't played Final Fantasy IX since 2018, I do like Zidane more than Cloud. But not by much. Like, I think it kind of boils down to... Actually, that's not true. I do like him more by character and design. But I don't know if he's enough to be very cool. I don't have much to say. It's been a long time since I played the game. It's kind of a quick one. Like, I think I put him in really like... I just don't know if I can put him any higher. I'm sorry. Acting a little sassy right now because I'm getting a little tired. He could be on very cool. It's kind of hard to say. I think the only reason why I'm holding him back is the fact that even though he does have like some moves in the game, one thing I am not a fan of Final Fantasy IX is the combat. And with Zidane, it's like, yeah, he has like some moves and stuff, but at the same time, he's like the best character in terms of like default attack. Better than anyone else, so it's like, why would I try to do some of these other moves if his base attack is just good enough? So he was just kind of very boring to play as because I just keep pressing attack. But aside from combat, like, I really do like his design and character. He's a lot of fun. So it's, so that's kind of what it boils down to. Cloud is more fun to play as than Zidane, but Zidane looks cooler and has a better design. Although I do love Cloud's Buster Sword. And I do think his Advent Child design is on par with his design. Alright, another character named Silver. From Pokemon Gold and Silver. I kind of only added him on here because his name is Silver, but he is my favorite rival in the Pokemon series, and I do like his design, but there's not really a lot to say about him, because you only see him in Gold and Silver. Okay, I really don't want to risk the water spilling if I push it, because there's like multiple wires close by it. I just want to eat something. I want to eat blackberries. Okay, blackberries have been eaten. So, yeah, Silver, because of the fact that I kind of contemplated on him being on here and I barely added him because his name is Silver, yeah, he's definitely going in, like, the arguably on here tier. Again, could he be top 100? Could he be in the top 100? Maybe, but are there other characters that could arguably take his place? Yes. So that's why he's on there. Ganon. Not any specific Ganon, even though I feel like I'm just counting Ganon as a whole. Even though there are multiple forms of Ganon, at the same time, there's like one variation of Ganon that just exists in so many of the games. Like, to my knowledge, I think the Ganon from Ocarina of Time is the same Ganon as the one in Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, and Zelda 1, because I think in all those games he's just sealed away. I think the only time the dude straight up dies is in Zelda 1, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker. Well, it's not that... It's not really... Actually, I take it back. I think really the only one he dies... Actually, that's not true. I won't say anything specific in Wind Waker, but it's not that he dies, it's just that you don't see him anymore after Wind Waker. But I won't say anything else than that. In Twilight Princess, no, dude literally... Dude just freaking got his neck snapped, apparently. But... I'm sorry if I'm just giving spoilers. Like I said, it's hot. I'm not really thinking. And then, of course, with Zelda 1, I'm assuming he's dead because they're trying to resurrect him. Link just straight up, like, turned him into dust. So, yeah, it's like the only Zelda games where it's not the same Ganon, and we're not counting Demise. The only time, in fact, really, the only time... Ignoring Breath of the Wild, because the continuity for that game just doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't really fit with the timeline. The only Zelda game that we see a different Ganon is Ganon from Four Swords Adventures. The art you're seeing is from the Oracle of Ages and Seasons games, I believe. But yeah, I think Four Swords Adventure is the only Zelda game where it's a different Ganon. Because again, in Ocarina of Time, you know, he is born in the Gerudo tribe after every 100 years. And in all the Zelda games, you just either don't see him anymore, which is in the timeline on the right side, and on the left side, he just keeps being resurrected over and over and over and over again. And then towards the end, he does die. So I guess if you technically want to count the silhouette of Ganon at the end, but at the same time, no, he was resurrected. It's the same Ganon. Like, he wasn't... What I'm saying is, in Four Swords Adventures, he's reincarnated. It's a different Ganon. Like, same spiritually, of course, but body, it's a different Ganon. All the other games, he's either resurrected or broken out of his seal. But in Four Swords Adventure, it is a completely different Ganon, which I think is pretty cool. So, ignoring Four Swords Adventure Ganon, if that makes you feel any better, just talking about Ganon and all the other games. Just, yeah. So, oh man, that was a bit of a mouthful. But if I had to say my favorite version of Ganon, it would be Wind Waker Ganon, or Ganondorf. If we're talking Ganon, then probably Link to the Past. Why did that taste like alcohol? These berries taste like alcohol. Like, almost vodka level. Okay. You know, honestly, I don't know where to put Ganon, but at the same time, because I love the guy, because I'll put him right there. because I do really like Ganon. It's the Zelda. Like, Zelda's like one of my favorite series ever. And he's like the main villain in a lot of the games. Like, I gotta add him. Like, because he's technically the same Ganon in all these games, I just like, there's too many really cool moments with him. So sure. Proto Man. Well, actually, I don't know. I was thinking where he could be. You know, he might be. I'm really going to have to think about who's going to be in my top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's only going to fill it by half, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta find the other 5 then. It's hard to think about who absolutely is in my top 10. But, I put Proto Man right here. Sorry his face is cut off, but yeah, Proto Man. I do like Proto Man a bit more than Base, even though before, back like years ago, I definitely like Proto Man more than Base, but now it's kind of like closed the gap a bit, but I still like Proto Man a little more. I don't know why I always liked him. Ah, shoot, I just realized something. I like Proto Man's design more in Mega Man.exe, but at the same time, I don't like his character as much, so I don't think it really matters. But I almost question if he's in my top 10, but at the same time, probably not, but I'm not sure. Shadow the Hedgehog. This is a character I probably definitely could have switched out with other characters, but I have grown to like Shadow more. I really like his design a lot. And it is cool that he does have a major part in some games like Sonic Adventure 2, because unlike Silver, where it's really Sonic 06 is his only major game, like with Shadow, you know, he's Sonic Adventure 2, he has Sonic Heroes, he has Sonic 06, he has Shadow the Hedgehog, he has the Sonic Generations remake. He does have multiple games where he does have a major part, and that really helps. So because of it, you know, I do... Ah, crap, now it's starting to do this now. Now you can't see it. Alright, let's see how it looks. It looks better now. Okay. Olm from Fire Emblem Echoes. Fire Emblem Echoes Shadow of Valentia. I actually passed him, like, with Fox and other characters. I do really like Olm. I think the voice for him, the English voice for him is really good. And I think his... I don't know... Like... Okay, I was about to say, I thought that was gonna show up. No. It's kind of hard to say because it's like to put him on the really like tier is kind of weird because I do like all these other characters more than Olm. So it kind of makes me feel like I have to put him on arguably, which, yeah, maybe. But at the same time, I don't know. You know what? No, I think I put him. He's barely on there. But I do really like him. I do. I think I like him more than those two by a little bit. I just like his character. I'm so worried about eating these blackberries because I feel kind of weird when I eat one of them and it has like an alcohol kick to it. They're just regular blackberries. Oh, gee, what are you doing when I'm looking away? How pitiful, kid. Doctor from Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Strangely, he is my favorite character in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. See, this one's gonna be really weird because a part of me, it's like I'm having to go by how I felt then, because I haven't played this game in like almost 8 years. But from what I remembered, I really liked Dogda a lot. I don't know why. I just really did. I'm trying to remember what his accent is. I think he's supposed to be Scottish. When I first played, I thought he was Irish, but he might be Scottish. I can't remember, even though I should know because of his accent. I think he's supposed to be Scottish. Regardless, yeah, I put him in the very cool tier. Yeah. He's really cool. Oh, here's the other Link. So because there's like more different versions of Link and Zelda compared to Ganon, I kind of wanted to pick, because you might think, oh well, Fierce Deity is just Link from Majora. Okay, fine, we're counting two different Links. We're counting Link from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, which, you know, if that was the case, then he would be more like in the really like tier, but because of the Fierce Deity, he gets a massive boost. But we're talking, but in terms of my favorite regular Link, it's Toon Link. But then you might think, well, that design was kind of used in Minish Cap and Wind Waker and Four Swords and, you know, Spirit Tracks, all this. Yeah. But if I had to pick a specific Link, I would pick Toon Link from Wind Waker, which that would be the same Link from Phantom Hourglass. I've always liked Link's design in this game. A lot of people, of course, were mixed about it because they kind of like the more realistic Link, like Twilight Princess, but I don't know, I've always liked his design, and I think it's cool that they did use this design a lot in some of the Zelda games during the like 2003, 2009. You know what, to be honest, I would say this, okay, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, because if we're only talking like Wind Waker Link, like Wind Waker / Phantom Hourglass, I could probably put him in very cool, but if I'm allowed to count just the Toon Link as a whole, which is adding Minish Cap, the Four Swords games and stuff, then yeah, he definitely gets some extra points. I just really like that design of his. So, yeah, it goes up there. See, I'm starting to feel bad because a lot of the characters up here are just like Mega Man, Zelda, Mario, you know, at least with this one. Got like Shin Megami, Xenoblade, you know. Gotta remember, I grew up mainly on Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, Pokemon, and there was another series I can't remember. Wait, what was it? Mega Man, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, and Sonic. Those were like the 5 series that I really liked. And I didn't start experimenting with other series until my teens. So there's like nostalgia points, but you know. Okay, this one's a weird one. Earthworm Jim. This is one of those characters where I just tell myself, you really like Earthworm Jim more than fucking Mario? Okay, look, I have played Earthworm Jim 1. I played the first 2 Earthworm Jim games. The second one especially when I was little. I have memories of watching my dad play Earthworm Jim a lot. You know, the games are cool. There's also Earthworm Jim from Clay Fighter 63 and a third. I really like that game. A lot of people hate it, I know, but, you know, I like that he was in it. He's a weird-looking character. I do like him. I don't think he should be in my top 100, but I added him anyways, so it's like, yeah, he's definitely, like, probably the lowest character on this list, but damn it, I just think it's kind of funny. Same thing, Sans. I'm just gonna do it now. He's also on here. I really like Sans. But I think one of the only reasons is because I remember, like, back in, like, 2015 or whatever, like, 2015, 2016, when I watched videos on Game Grumps of Ross fighting... Was it Ross? Can't remember. Like, fighting Sans. It was at the time where I was really interested in a really difficult fight, and when I first saw him, it looked really difficult. I'm like, man, I really want to do that. Okay, I don't want to go into this whole history with, you know, with Undertale with me or anything, but I will say when I finally played the game, I do really like Sans. He is like one of my favorite characters in the game. He's a funny character, and I do, you know, really the only reason why I questioned if he was on here was because I really did enjoy that boss fight. That was a cool boss fight. So yeah. Oh man, this one's gonna be a rude one. Strider Hiryu from the Strider series. I have loved this dude, not like romantically or anything, but I have loved this character. I don't know for how long. I think since my young teens, I've really loved this character. They only made 4 games of him, I think. They made Strider, literally Strider, the Sega Genesis game, Strider 2, and Strider. I just realized 3 out of the 4 of his games are just called Strider. My god. But yeah, Strider for the PS3. I played Strider on NES first in my early teens, and for some reason that was like one of my favorite NES games ever. I had a really fun time playing that, and I did replay it again back in 2023. I did a stream of it. Whole stream of it. It's very buggy, but I still think the game is really good. And I have been wanting to play more of his games for so many years, and when I've seen him in like the Marvel vs. Capcom games, I always thought he was like one of the coolest looking characters, maybe even the coolest. I love his design so much. I would love, like, from what I played of Strider 2, like I have seen the whole game like over a decade ago, and it looked really fun. From what I played, you know, I did play a bit of Strider 3 years ago on my PS4. That was really fun. And I did play a little bit of the Genesis one. That was also really... Just all the games he's in is just really fun. He looks really cool. He's really fun to play. Just Saber is just so satisfying to use in all the games. And here's something I just remembered now. Glad I remembered. So, of course... like with the anime characters, the main rule was that I was talking about these characters of their anime version. So like with Hikaru, I argued that if this was manga Hikaru, I would have put her in my top 10. But because I was talking about anime Hikaru, I put her in the love 'em tier, because I don't like Hikaru in the anime as much in the manga. But see, you might think, well, what does this have to do with Strider? Well, the rule, of course, is I'm only talking about well, obviously it's in the video game adaptation, but at the same time, there was another rule I didn't mention, and that was, the rule is that I can only add characters that originated as video game characters. Because, of course, there's a lot of, you know, versions of these characters, you know, obviously there's like a lot of games based on movies or animes or cartoons or whatever. And I can't count these characters because, yeah, they might be in a video game, but I can't count them because they originate as an anime or whatever. Now with Strider, he's the only character, I think, out of these 100 that I'm breaking this rule, because he actually originated from a manga in when was it? Like 1987, 88? But yeah, he technically originated as Technically Ryu is a manga character in terms of origin, and however, after the manga, he pretty much became a video game character. So I am kind of cheating, but yeah. This one's going to be kind of weird. I will say that even though I haven't played the other 3 games, I have. I played a bit of all of them, and I've seen one of them online, and I have beaten the NES one, and of course, I've seen him in the fighting games, and this is going to be kind of really weird. This one's going to be really weird, but I'm actually going to put him up there. He was like, I remember when I was a kid, he was like one of the coolest video game characters to me. Just how he fights, his design, the games that he's in. He is just, he's like Zero. It's like any game he is in, to his design, to his abilities, and just his attacking, he's just so cool. I really like Strider. Dude's old too. Kind of has the same treatment with Zero. Like, Zero just lives on for hundreds of years. This dude lives on for thousands. But I really like it. It's like, do I like him more than Base? It's like, yeah, technically, and like I like him more than. I can see that. Yeah, I can see him like him more than all these characters. So, yeah, I'm kind of going by my feelings from like years ago, but I still really just want to play the other games, and I really hope they make another game someday. Have they? I think I'm getting it mixed up with Ninja Gaiden. I know they're making a new Ninja Gaiden game, but not Strider, I believe. See, I did question this because I was wondering, should I take a little break halfway in? How far am I? Jesus. 34? Alright, I think I might have to take a break once I reach 50 because, like, I'm still going to have to go through all of these characters that you're seeing on top. And by the looks of it, I'm only an hour and a half in. So yeah, this is going to be a long video. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Alright, so next up is Wes from Pokemon Colosseum. Yeah, this dude is just really cool. I love his design. Shame that he's only in Pokemon Colosseum, but I think his design alone just makes up for it. Of course, he's a silent protagonist and everything, but I really do love the concept that they were originally going to make him the main villain in XD Gale of Darkness. That would have probably put him in the love him tier, honestly. That's really cool. Shame that they removed it. I just like, because he just kind of has that potential villainous vibe. Like, he just kind of feels like he's kind of doing it for his own desire, like his own goals in Colosseum. But yeah, this is one of those cases where I think, let me think about it. I love the fact that just because of his damn design, he actually goes up here. Yeah. Just because he goes up here, like, I would actually say, yeah, he holds his own against all these characters, because he's similar to, like, Nahobino. I love his design, and because of it, because I love his design so much, he gets to go up here. Alright, next up is Ring-a-Bell from Bravely Default. I don't know what to really say about him. I remember his character. It's just been years since I played Bravely Default. It's like 2018. It was 8 years ago. If I recall, his name is pretty much his name is like a reference to him having amnesia. I'm trying to remember the whole origin. Oh, I'm starting to remember. I won't say any spoilers. They're major spoilers. But yeah, Ring a Bell I remember was like a really cool character. He always like had a thing for Idia, and Idia just always just told him to piss off and just like drop kick him, whatever. That was funny. He is in my top 100 because, you know, aside from Idia, like in terms of Bravely Default and Bravely Second, I would put trying to think out of like, because there's technically 6 characters, because 2 characters come back in Bravely Second, but then they add 2 new ones. I think out of these 6 characters, Ring a Bell is like my second or third favorite. Maybe, maybe my favorite. I don't know. I would put him right here. The only problem is I won't say anything specific because of spoilers, but technically he's really only in the first game. He's the one of the 4 main characters you play as, but in the second game you don't really see him for the most part, which is very strange. Like if he, you know, if he was the main if he was one of the main characters in the sequel and they made it work, I would have definitely put him up here, but I think up here is fine. Alright, next up is Vaati from the Zelda series, and technically it's the same Vaati, so we're counting Vaati from like Minish Cap, Four Swords Adventure. Here's a little thing, I actually like Vaati more than Ganon. I really love Vaati's design. I wish they did more for Vaati. I think Vaati is like a very interesting character. You know, even still, it's like, I'm kind of going back and forth on it. Because it's like that design of his in Minish Cap is so good. If there was just more of that, and if there was just like more of that design, oh man. Dang it! It's like, he's close to being up here, but I kind of feel like I have to put him here. He's kind of having like the Wes and Nalhobino treatment where I love his design, but at the same time he also has like that cult thing going on, but at the same time, kind of feel like he has to be right there. Still really good, but still really, really cool character, but I don't know. I just, even though I just said I like him more than Ganon, at the same time, like, I was kind of referring to like him in Minish Cap, but there's just too much of Ganon for him to go up there. Dang. Alright, this one I feel bad about because I'm actually having trouble trying to remember his name. Because for some reason I keep wanting to call him something, but that's not his name. I swear I used to remember his name. Oh, that was his name. Oh my gosh, I got it right the whole time. Kazuya. I just didn't know if that was right. I kept questioning if, like, you know, Kazuya as in like Tekken Kazuya, or Kazuya like that's his actual name. But yeah, Kazuya. This is the main character in Devil Survivor. The one that I said I arguably like more than the Nalhobino. Why? I don't know. Because even though it's kind of the same thing where it's like you kind of have to answer for him, it's one of those RPGs as well. Pretty much most of the Shin Megami games are like that. However, at least with him, he at least has like different facial expressions depending on how you answer. Plus, for some reason, I've always really liked his design. Weirdly enough, as much as the Nahobino design, and I don't know why. Plus, Devil Survivor I like a lot more than Shin Megami Tensei 5. Not that Shin Megami Tensei 5 isn't good, I think that's a great game, but I do like Devil Survivor more. It's one of my favorite Shin Megami games. And yeah, I really like this character. So he goes up there. Data. And another, oh man, this one's gonna be dumb. I really don't want to do it for that reason. I'm not gonna, because I haven't played Mega Man Legends 2 for it to get the extra points, but Data is from Mega Man Legends, and he is the cutest freaking thing ever. It is a monkey that looks like it's wearing a diaper that's consuming its whole body. It doesn't really talk for almost the whole game, but it is just so freaking cute, and because of that, it's going up here. If there was a lot more to it, it could have been up here, but it is just so freaking cute. Oh yeah, that one character is gonna be weird, because like all these characters are like anime looking or cartoony, and then you just have like this real looking dude. I'll get to that later. Next up is Skull Kid, but at the same time, okay, this one I'm kind of cheating because, you know, Majora doesn't have a gender, but at the same time, I'm gonna kind of cheat with this. I'm gonna kind of cheat with this. I'm counting Majora as a whole, but also like Majora possessing Skull Kid. So even though Vaati is at least in a few games and Skull Kid is only like Majora is only in one, because of the design, because Majora's Mask is my favorite game, because Majora is so freaking creepy, and because of the final boss, and because of just so many other things. I know this is upsetting, but yeah, I gotta put Skull Kid in the love him tier. The thing is, you don't even see Skull Kid throughout most of the game. Like after the beginning, you don't really see Skull Kid for the majority of the game. You keep hearing a lot of the crap he's doing, but you don't really see him do it. It's kind of like Sephiroth. Because if I remember the last time I played it, you don't see him throughout most of the game. It's like you're hearing him passing by, you're seeing stuff that he's doing, or where he's, you know, hearing what he's... Like, you hear what he's been up to, you just don't see him until towards the end of the game. Alright, Soul Bad Guy. Alright. Now, I technically played Guilty Gear, quite a bit of Guilty Gear 1, so he's allowed to be on here. I can't even argue if he's my favorite character on there. Like, I do like characters like Kai and Zato, but I picked him just because, I don't know. So, yeah, like, again, I was kind of stretching. So it's like I added him. Could he be in my top 100? Sure, I really like his design, and I think he's a cool character, but, you know, I could contemplate on it. Next up is the Bomber Boy himself. I don't know really much. I don't really know what to say, really. I really like Bomberman. You know, the character. But I've never been a fan of his mainline games. It's like I've always been more interested in like his like more side game, like his like less traditional games like Bomberman Hero and Generation. But that doesn't stop me from, you know, liking his design. I think he's really cute. Although I don't think I would put him in very cool, even though I, you know, have a history of Bomberman since I was little. I feel like he's held back because the fact that I just like, I'm so mixed about the main games. It's like I like multiple things about them, but man, there's some things that is in almost all of them that I hate. It's just one of those series where it's like, man, if you just fix these two things, I would like the game so much more. And I just have to accept that it's not for me then, if they're just gonna do that for all the games. Pharaoh Man, again, his head is like half off. But yeah, Pharaoh Man. This was one of the only 2 Robot Masters I added. Just to say, I really wanted to add Robot Masters like Nightman and Astro Man and Galaxy Man, and you see why I had to limit it to 10? It sucked not adding Nightman. I almost kind of regret not adding Nightman. But I really wanted to add Pharaoh Man because even though I like Nightman's design more, Snake and Pharaoh Man I have a longer history of liking more. Like, Pharaoh Man is definitely like one of my favorite Robot Masters, definitely top 3. But yeah, it's just Pharaoh Man. What more can you say? Dude punched Mega Man in the cartoon. Ah, crap, can't see it again. Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog. When it comes to my favorite Sonic characters, okay, so I've always known what my 3 favorite Sonic characters are. And how do I put this? Like, I already know where he's gonna be. Sonic is one of my most inspirational video game characters, period. He is literally the character that got me interested in wanting to run. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have tried track, and I wouldn't have tried to do fitness with jogging, and it was definitely one of the starting points of me wanting to, you know, make myself have, you know, just better endurance and running and everything. And Sonic is just a mega inspiration. He is one of the most inspiring characters for fiction for me. And he was actually like the Sonic series, like before Dragon Ball, Sonic was the series that I was taking a lot of inspiration in for my first series. And, you know, like people love to hate him, or just hate him in general, or love him too much. I just respect him. Yeah, there's a lot of games where he's kind of had his dips, but the games that he was great in, I absolutely love the guy. And even the Sonic games that I don't care for much, I still love him in. He is a big inspiration to me, and because of that, he belongs in definitely my top 10. I know I said Blaze. Like, when it comes to, like, Blaze is definitely my second favorite Sonic character. She's my favorite female Sonic character, but when it comes to favorite Sonic character, I always kind of have to go back to, like, you know, the star of the show. I absolutely love this guy. And even though I don't like the Sonic series as much as I used to for a couple of reasons, it doesn't change the fact that I still love Sonic. Alright, how many have I done so far? Let's see, 5, 9... Okay, I guess we're gonna stop at Little Macaque. Macaque's hard to find around here. Macar. Okay, if you want to know the macaque, there's a monkey called a macaque, and there was a reference from Wild Boys because Steve-O says macaque's hard to find around. He pauses to make it sound like he's saying macaques. Okay, moving on. Vile. I actually could have switched him out with there were some characters I could have added, but again, that 10 damn limit. Now that doesn't mean he is in the arguably on here tier. I love Vile's design. Apparently I loved him so much that I broke his head when I had him as a toy. 3 times. Three times. Really the only Mega Man games I can think of where he has a part is X1, X3, X8, and Maverick Hunter X, I think. But, you know, I do really like him in all the games. I like his part in X1. Like, X1 is like one of my 2 favorite games ever. And his role in X1 is really cool. And it's cool that you can actually play as him in Maverick Hunter X. I haven't done that, but I did really like playing that game last year, so I would definitely enjoy replaying the game again as Vile. That seems pretty cool. But yeah, I put him right here. Alright, next up is Squall. Which, out of the PS1 Final Fantasy games, he's actually my favorite. I like him more than Zidane. And I remember when I first played it, I actually felt like I kind of related to him a bit, but so when it comes to character, he's not as good as Zidane. Why I like his design, I don't know. I just think his clothing is so stylish, and I think his weapon is like, it's so dumb, but I really like it. It's a gun sword. And, you know, I do like his face design. I don't know why I like Squall so much. It's like he's one of those characters that he has a couple of things that just makes him dumb. But man, I just freaking love the guy. Not literally in the love him tier, but he definitely goes up here. He definitely deserves to be with all these other characters. And even looking at this, like with the other tier lists, like, very cool as a compliment. Like, don't make it seem like it's in the middle. Like, I'm looking at all these characters and I'm like, man, I love all these characters. It's just the love 'em tier is kind of weird because the difference between these characters and these characters, you know, a lot of the time it's just kind of like either biased or just too many like memories when I was little. Oh boy, now we finally got to my favorite animal in space. Falco Labombe? Ah, crap. I can't remember his last name. Falco Labarmbe? I have not said his last name in so long. But yeah, Falco. I always liked him more than Fox. I don't know, just a blue bird. He just looks cool. Plus, when it came to Smash Bros. Melee, I always liked playing as him more than Fox. And I just always thought he was cooler in Star Fox 64. His lines are pretty funny. But, where would I put Falco, actually? Like, would I actually put him above these characters? Like, can he be up there with these characters? Uh... Maybe. I don't know, he did say super gay baby brothers, and that was kind of funny. Alright, next up is Kirby. Yeah, another character that I thought about wanting to add, and then I was hesitant. But then I was like, you know, like it's Kirby, like, you know, all the different transformation, like, it's Kirby. I love Kirby. Kirby's really cool. I just wasn't really sure. It's not much to say, but I definitely put him in the very cool tier. Also, I feel bad. There's a lot of very cool and really like. Again, some of these characters could be a part of Love Them, but I'm trying to, like, figure things out on, like, what characters make sense to be in Love Them. Because, come on, like, these ranks are, like, incremental. It's kind of hard to do this. Because, honestly, I would say maybe a couple of these characters might have to go up to Love Them. But it's still hard to say. Alright, 2 more characters left, and then I'll take a short break. Next up is Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. If you didn't know who this character was, it's Cecil from the main character in Final Fantasy IV. Yeah. He's actually my favorite Final Fantasy main character, even more than Squall. I think just because, for one, I just really like his design. I would say I like it, it's hard to say. Like, I would say technically I like his design. How do I put this? On the low end, I like it as much as Zidane. On the high end, I like it as much as Squall. Honestly, like, put the blue lipstick on and he's above Squall. But it's not like I like him that much. I just really liked him as the main character in 4 because I like the idea that he was technically a villain, sort of. Like, he was working with the bad guys. And so it's like, wow, the main character in the game is like a bad guy, technically. And then, like, halfway into the game, he finally faces his dark side, his darkness, and then finally, the light side of him won, and he became, like, a light warrior, and he looked really cool. So I think that's what I really liked about him. You know, it's strange to say he's my favorite Final Fantasy character, but he is. He's really cool. Very beautiful, too. Alright, time for Makar. Yeah, this one's kind of a weird one, because I was kind of thinking, like, is he barely on here? I really do like Makar. I always thought he was cute. But at the same time, he also pissed me off because he has to be an idiot to get caught in by one of those grabby hands, and it makes things harder for me. If you never played Wind Waker, then you would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you see him in Forbidden Woods, and then he becomes a companion for you in the 5th dungeon. Out of him and Medley, I like both of them for different reasons. But at the same time, Medley didn't make it on my top 100 girls list, although she arguably could. That's what I mean by she could have replaced with some of the other girls in the arguably on here tier. So, I don't know. Like, comparing Makar with, like, all the really like characters, I really like again, I like Makar. And I would go as far to say that I like Makar most of the arguably on here characters. Makar's like top arguably on here. Oh my god. Look, sneak peek. But, alright. So I'm halfway done. Oh my god, I'm only halfway done. Oh, why is this taking so long? I will say when I come back to this, I might just have to get through some of these characters because it's already been 2 hours now. It's already been 2 hours now, so I really need to kind of get through these characters much faster. So I'll try to speed through that. So yeah, I'll pause it and then I'll continue where I left off. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I was originally going to be gone for at least 30 minutes, but I was only gone for 10 minutes tops. Because after I paused it and then got up for a little bit, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do for the next 30 minutes? I don't know what to do for the next 30 minutes. One of the problems is that it's 4 a.m. now, so I don't want to try to stay up any later than 6. So, I guess I'll just do the other half then. Let me check, is everything in order? Seems like it. Alright, let's continue. My mind feels a little looser, so... Alright, let's continue. Magnus Centipede. This was a tough one because I actually really wanted to add Gravity Beetle. It was a toss between Gravity Beetle and Magnus Centipede, and it's yeah, I like his song more, but I really it's so close, but I actually really love Magnus Centipede's design. In fact, I was questioning this earlier. This is going to be weird. Magnus Centipede is in the 11 tier. I don't know why, but I actually like his design more than Snake Man or Pharaoh Man. And even though there is another Maverick that I like more than Magnus Centipede, at the same time, in terms of design, I don't know why I like Magnus Centipede's design so much. He is my favorite in design in terms of Mavericks. And again, I am going to contemplate, I am going to question some characters that might go up here and some characters might go up here. But yeah, I put him right here. Even though that's weird to say, it's you're telling me you like him more than all these other characters. Look, there's not much character to him. You kind of just have to go by design sometimes. Alright, Chrono. Okay, I need to kind of rush through these sometimes. It's okay, yeah, I could put Chrono in the really likes. I do really like Chrono. I questioned it, but, I think the only reason why I put him up here is that he is the main character, so, I played as him the whole time, and he has, the most combinations to, work with the characters. So, yeah. Okay, Joel's a weird one. He's from The Last of Us, and... yeah, this one's kind of weird. What's even weirder is that he is definitely in my top 100. He's not that high up or anything, but I definitely put him up here with everyone else. I could go into why. I think for some reason, I guess one thing was shoot, I'm not kind of, it's I'm having to rush a little bit. He's just on there. Alright, Robo from Chrono Trigger. Check the volume. Okay, so yeah, Robo from Chrono Trigger. See, technically I would like him more than Chrono, but at the same time, I kind of got stuck wanting to mainly play as, what was it, Chrono, Marle, and Isla. And because of it, even though I arguably like Robo more than Chrono, because I didn't get to play as him much, it kind of barely goes on here. Although when I do play Chrono Trigger again, even though it's gonna suck, but I'm actually going to want to play as, like, I think out of all the characters, Robo's the one I really want to put more time into, which means I'll have to sacrifice Isla, just because Marle really has some good abilities. Felix from Golden Sun Lost Age. I did play Golden Sun again recently, which is a great game. I haven't played Lost Age, so my memories are a bit fuzzy with him, but even still, I think Felix is a really cool character. Enjoy Felix. I didn't realize that joke is kind of fitting with him on here. Enjoy Felix. Why am I laughing so much? I'm tired. Okay. Also, when I say Felix, like, enjoy, this has nothing to do with the Felix and Golden Sun. It's from a YouTube video. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna keep laughing. Okay, so Felix, yeah, where would I put him? I will admit that out of all the characters, he's my third favorite Golden Sun character. It sucks to put him right here, but the thing is, there's like 2 Golden Sun characters that I'm gonna put in like this 3rd rank tier. I do really like Felix. Like, heck, I honestly don't even have like Isaac in my top 100. I thought about it, but in the end, you know, I do like Felix much more than Isaac. He's a really cool character. Riku. Both Riku. Yeah, so Riku from Kingdom Hearts, which I started playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and then I gave up. I just time and everything. I'll come back to it maybe, but yeah. So it's like I really like Riku's design. I think he's really cool, but yeah, I gotta put him right here. The main reason is because I contemplated if he should even be on here, because the only reason why I added him was he was one of the characters where I was like struggling on thinking of like, well, who would be in my top 100? Riku? I like him more than Sora, but... And I do really like him, but I was just kind of struggling to think like, okay, he's my favorite original Kingdom Hearts character. Oh, am I kidding? I think Axel would have had a better chance. Okay, I'm kind of cheating with this one. Beautiful Joe. Never played his games, wanted to for years now. However, I can technically pick him on here because I actually played as him a lot in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which is the game that got me really interested in him. And that counts for something, right? That counts for something, right? Silly enough, he's actually in the really liked tier. He would actually be higher, mate, potentially, but because I only have what I know about him from, you know, the fighting game, he only goes up there. But he's definitely top 100. I like his design a lot. Virgil. Okay. Okay, you can see... Boom! But there's his twin brother, Virgil. I was questioning if he would be in my top 100, but when I started thinking about it a little bit more, I'm just like, you know what, yeah, definitely. You know, I do really like his design, not as much as Dante, but I do really like his design. He's more of a sword wielder than Dante, because Dante uses guns and swords, while Virgil just prefers not to use guns. He doesn't like them. And at first I was like, well, to be fair, he's not really in that many of the Devil May Cry games, but when I started thinking about it, it's like, no, he is. Like, even, like, counting the DMC reboot, really the only one he's not in, spoilers, is DMC 2. You know, he's an antagonist in the first game, he's an antagonist in the third game, he's in a prequel DLC mode storyline in DMC 4, and then he's also in DMC 5. So he's actually in quite a bit of the games, and I actually, when I thought about it when making this list, I was like, you know, I actually wouldn't mind playing DMC 3 again, but doing the Virgil mode, because you can actually play as Virgil the whole game, and he does have a bit of his own storyline and cutscenes, which is cool. So, it's kind of crazy to put him up there. Like, to be fair, I love his brother a lot more, but still, I'm kind of surprised to put him up there. It's just the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I remember really, like, to the point where I actually thought he, like, in terms of how he fights, I actually think he's more interesting than Dante. Alright, Espio. I don't know why Espio has been like one of my favorite Sonic characters ever. Really the only game I got to play as him was in Sonic Heroes. I don't even really play as him in many games. Actually, that's not true. I did play him in Sonic the Fighters. He was actually like one of the characters I played the most. He debuted in Knuckles and Chaotix, and you know, you see him in multiple other Sonic games, but really the only two games for me. My only history with Espio was Sonic Fighters, Sonic Heroes, and Sonic X. He's a chameleon. A ninja chameleon. That's purple. Yeah, but yeah, he's in my top 3. I don't like him as much as Blaze, but I definitely like him more than, like, Shadow Silver. I've liked him since the beginning. I really wish I got to play as him as more. He's a cool character. Alright, if you don't know who this character is, this is Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. Because out of all the guy characters in Final Fantasy VI, he is my favorite. Also one of my favorites to play as. I just remember he had like a lot of different tool weapons, and he was a lot of fun to play, including this chainsaw. Puts on the hockey mask and everything. It's like, what the heck? You're not Jason, you're Leatherface, dude. But yeah, I do really like Edgar. However, I haven't played Final Fantasy VI in a long time, so it's kind of weird to say that I wouldn't put him in the very cool. I would kind of put him more right here. Like, I want to put him as very cool because he is my second favorite Final Fantasy VI character. But simply because I just can't remember. I just can't. Alright, Saber from Fire Emblem Echoes. He's my favorite guy character in that game. I definitely like him more than And it's dumb too. It's because his name is Saber. Same thing with Silver. I have a character in my series I named Saber like back in like 2014 or something, and because of that, like, he is cool, and in terms of like being viable in the game, he's actually a good character overall, at least for me. So yeah, he goes up here. I would put him higher, but I just can't. However, this character, Megaman.exe, this is my favorite version of Mega Man. I like him more than the Classic or X or Volnut. Even though I will admit, it is a shame because I just don't know if I can get into the Battle Network games anymore. When I played Battle Network 3 earlier this year, when I came back to it, I just can't. It sucks, man. It's like the games are just so cool. There's so many things I like about it. It's like Monster Hunter. It's like there's so many things I really like about Battle Network, but there's just so many things that annoys me about the series, and it just keeps getting worse. The first game had multiple problems, but overall I enjoyed the game. I thought it was genuinely good. Battle Network 2 fixed some problems, but then added new ones that overall made the game a bit worse than the first one. Then the third one made it even worse. And what's crazy is that people actually say the third one's the best in the series. How? But that doesn't stop the things I love about Battle Network, like the characters and the combat, just the setting and just feels for the game. And I've always liked Megaman.exe. I've had a figure of him, which I actually got a new figure of him, which he's like 1 foot away from me. And I like all the different forms that he has, and I like his character in Battle Network. Well, I don't want to say any spoilers. I don't know if my friend knows about it, but ever since playing Battle Network 1, I definitely like him more than I have. He's definitely right here. Also, I just realized something. My God, half his face is like, it's worse than Proto Man. You can't even see his face, but you can obviously tell it's him. But I contemplated, like, would he be in my top 10 if the games were better? But to be fair, Network Transmission is actually, I think, a great game, although that's an unpopular opinion. That's, a lot of people consider that to be one of the worst, if not the worst, Battle Network game. It's kind of like, it's like the Bomberman situation. It's like, you know, I like multiple things about the mainline games, but overall some of the things just make me not into the series. Same thing with Battle Network. When they did something different, I liked a lot more than the mainline. Hey, Bomberman music. Alright, Blanka from Street Fighter. Come to think of it, there is another Street Fighter character, but Blanka was actually my favorite when I was a kid. I think just because he looked the most different. He was just this, like, animalistic with long orange hair and green skin, and I don't know, he has like electricity. I always thought Blanka was really cool. He's definitely in my top 100, but I wouldn't say he's like too high. I don't like him as much as I used to. He's like my third favorite Street Fighter character now, but no, I still very much like him. Plok. This one's a weird one. This is like Earthworm Jim, but more valid. So, you know, I played Plok when I was like around 4 years old, and I think he's an interesting character. It's like he tosses his limbs like Rayman, but before Rayman. And it's just kind of weird. Like I'm not gonna make it a joke, because realistically, he is in my top 100, because he does mean more to me than Earthworm Jim, but you can't expect him to be too much higher. Dang it, now it's even longer. Oh crap, that's not good. Now you can't see what's up here anymore. Ugh. crap. Well, I gotta pay attention. I gotta pay attention to that then, because you only see half of the top one, but you can see the rest just fine. Alright. Here, Ricky go! Here is Ricky from Xenoblade Chronicles. I actually really like Ricky. I think Ricky might be my second favorite character in Xenoblade Chronicles. Although I will say in terms of plot, Ricky was like the least important. Like, Ricky was the only main character, like only party member that felt like they just were there because Heropon, and their part in the story just doesn't go any further than that. But I do like Ricky. He is a status inflictor, and for months when I was playing that game, and I just kept saying references that Ricky would say. So yeah, he goes right up there. Alright. Next up is the Mighty Gazelle. Like, I contemplated Mighty Gazelle as my favorite F-Zero character, that or Captain Falcon. I don't know why I like Mighty Gazelle so much. Also, I just realized his face is half cut off. Damn it! I feel like that's gonna be a problem with some of the girl characters. Why was this never a problem with the anime characters? This was never an issue. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's because when I got pictures for anime characters, it showed their faces, but with these, it would show their whole body, and I tried to crop as much as I could, and I still failed. Alright, next up is Watt. I already know where I'm going to put him, and it's just going to be weird. That is really weird. First of all, Watt kind of confused me because I thought Watt was a girl because some of the lines of how they refer to Watt in the English version is a she. But in the Japanese version, Watt is a boy. And to be fair, you know, Watt is not even my favorite party member in Paper Mario. He's my second favorite. But at the same time, I love using Watt in Paper Mario. I think Watt is so cute. And for some reason, Watt is one of the most... It's probably one of the characters I've drawn the most. I don't know why. I've drawn Watt many times whenever I got bored in school. It's weird to think Watt being above all these characters, but for very specific weird reasons, they're up. They're above. They're up there. Alright, let's see how it looks right now. Ah, crap. You can't even see the people in the Love Them tier. Ah, and it's only because of this stupid-ass ad on the left. I swear, if it wasn't for the ad, I would be able to show it, but it just keeps changing ads, and there's like no way for me to remove it. I really wish I could. Damn it. Alright, well, you only saw it for a fraction of a second. But yeah, I really hate it. I really wish I could remove it. But it's like I just can't. So, sorry that you're just not able to see the characters on top. Alright, anyway, moving on. Alright, next up is Cyrus. This was another character I was kind of mixed on whether or not they would be on here. I remember Cyrus was my favorite guy character in Octopath Traveler. Kind of hard to say where I would put him. Like, would I put him above the characters at the bottom? No, I liked Cyrus. Like, in the end, I do remember liking his character. The thing I remembered him the most was that he came off as a ladies' man in terms of how he talked to girls, but at the same time, the idea was he was the kind of person where he would talk as if he was hitting on girls, but in reality he wasn't. He was just, it's just his way of speech comes off as if he's trying to hit on girls or like sweet talk girls, but it's not. It's just how his sentences go when he's talking to girls. So I always found it funny. So yeah, he goes right there. Alright, finally. Actually, dang, we're actually gonna get 2 top 10s real quick. I was gonna say that's, I know I haven't really been adding many characters in the best tier because that was the thing. I was very curious on who the heck is even in my top 10. But here's finally the other character, Meta Knight. He is the other character I mentioned that, I know 2 video game guide characters that are my favorites. And Meta Knight, just to put him right there, he is one of my 2 favorites. I don't know why. Like, I've always loved him since since Smash Bros. Brawl came out. I knew about him before Brawl, but it's just, that was the game that kind of made me fall in love with him. I didn't even know he was OP, I just loved playing as him. And I love his design. He's like one of the only characters that could be so intimidating, but just so damn cute at the same time. And I think out of all the video game characters, he's definitely one of the ones I wish had more development. Like, I want to know more about this guy. He's so mysterious. Alright, next up is Fawful from the Mario and Luigi games. He's a strange one because at first I thought about him and then I was like, no. But then when I thought about it again, I was like, you know what? He's a crazy villain. He was like one of the henchmen in Mario Superstar Saga, and then you barely see him in Partners in Time. Like, he just kind of seems like he's doing his own thing, mischievously, and then he becomes the main villain in Bowser Inside Story, which I think is really cool. That being said, I don't know if he would be in my top 100. Again, I think it's kind of weird. But I do really like him. But he could arguably, he's definitely on the higher tier of this one, like Alucard and Makar, but yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. So yes, this is Dante from Devil May Cry. I've played all the games. This is one of those weird cases where I make it sound like, oh, if the games aren't great enough, then they're going to be limited on how high they go. And overall, I do think overall, aside from DMC 2, I do think all of them are not bad games. Like DMC 1, I think is really good. DMC 3 is really good, if not almost a great game. DMC 4, I'll consider it a good game, even though my experience with it was more just decent. But that was because I played on hard mode, my bad. And then DMC 5 was really good. And even the DMC reboot I thought was really decent. But when it comes to the character Dante, I don't know why I love this guy so much. I love his design. I just, I took as much inspiration of his design as I did Edward. I always put them together because of the red coat. But yeah, he was definitely another character I absolutely knew that he was going to be in a top 10. He's been in my top 10 for a long time now. Yeah, I love Dante. Like, I think I said this before, like, in terms of, like, fictional characters, that's not mine. I think the only 2 characters for years now that I didn't mind wanting to cosplay as if I had to was Edward and Dante, specifically DMC 1 Dante. I love his design in that game. Right, next up is Vivi. I kind of need to speed this up. There's still a lot of characters to go through. Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. One of my favorite Final Fantasy characters ever. He's just a cute little guy. Like, You just can't go wrong with Vivi. Again, I might have to change it because I'm not sure, but at the bare minimum, yeah, he's definitely on here. I'll keep him on here, but I'm really going to have to think about some of these characters on the love them tier. Leon, just Leon in general. Yeah, Leon's really cool. A really cool dude. Although it's kind of hard to say, like, I wish I could put him at very cool, because although I do really like him in Resident Evil 4, but aside from that game, it's like, it's not like he's that, aside from that, he's more like right here. Sometimes I keep breaking my rules. If this was Resident Evil, like if I had to just go by Resident Evil 4 than him, but the other games kind of hold him back. Red 8. I like Red 8. In fact, I actually like him more than Cloud. I really like Red 8. Sorry, I am starting to feel that the sleepiness is starting to kick in a little bit. I'm just trying to look at like the characters I really like, and you know, I think maybe I would still put him in really like I like him more than Cloud, but I just don't think he could be up here. Crap. I'm really going to have to think about this list because I feel like there's not enough characters for love them, because I'm just haven't been quite sure on what even counts, because this whole tier list is kind of dependent on what some of these things even mean. Alright, so next up is Fulgore. My favorite character, Killer Instinct. I just really like him. He always looked like a robot knight to me, which I always thought was cool. Yeah, he definitely at least goes up there. Always thought he was really cool. Alright, Eric Lacarde from Castlevania Bloodlines. Okay, this is definitely a character I put in the arguably on here, because even though I love him in Castlevania Bloodlines, you don't really see him much else except for Portrait of Ruin, and I don't really care for him much in Portrait of Ruin, so it's a good example of great character design in the game, but there's not much to him. But he's freaking... I really like him in Bloodlines. And I do like him more than the others. Alright, Spyro. This one's gonna be... Okay, I'm really going to have to think about this if I do this. I love Spyro. I grew up with him because my mom had Spyro games on the PS1. And he's a purple dragon, and it's purple and yellow. I love the color combination of purple and yellow. And I always like Spyro a lot. I played a lot. I actually played most of his games, which I enjoyed. I think the fact that because he's a purple and yellow dragon that has breath abilities of fire, ice, and in some games plasma, I want to put him there just again for nostalgia's sake. And then Shulk. Shulk is top 100, but I definitely don't like him as much as like Donbon and stuff. Or Ricky, but he is on there. But Vincent, I actually like Vincent more than Red 8 or Cloud. I think his design is absolutely just amazing. It's like one of my favorite Final Fantasy character designs. I'm really going to have to think of this tier list in a minute. It's kind of reaching a point. Alright, give me a minute. Give me a minute, I really need to think. Alright, sorry, it's like I have to like kind of be in this state where I need to really process everything quick enough. Alright, so I added a few more characters. I would say in the end, it's like these characters are absolutely on the very cool tier. These characters, I'm still thinking about it. But I added Vivi because, in short, yes, I do like Vivi more than Cecil. And I do like Vivi more than Vincent. I do really like Vincent's design, but I think it's just the problem is just... I really like Vincent's design. But it's just, I don't know. And it's like, I like Dogda and everything. Like, I do like the... It's like, well, why did I add these characters? I think it kind of boils down to... Pharaoh Man I have inspiration in, and I think Pharaoh Man is just... I still like Pharaoh Man. I actually like him more than I did years ago, and in which I already liked him, like, on par with Snake Man. But with Snake Man, it's like a little less now. Vivi is like one of my favorite Final Fantasy? Favorite male Final Fantasy? Is he? He might be. I love Vivi, he's adorable. Cafe, again, just kind of just pushing that biased feeling of loving this design so much. And just in Majora's Mask and stuff. Jeez, I realize there's 3 Majora's Mask characters on here. Donbon, he's my favorite character in one of my favorite video games of all time. Count Black, when I started thinking about his story and how much it makes me emotional, I'm kind of reminded that he's like one of my favorite... In terms of the Mario games, he might just be my favorite villain in the entire series. One of my favorite main villains, period. Although he's in one game. Okay, this one's gonna be a weird one. So, I actually did think about this. This is gonna be because of a song, and this is gonna be really dumb. So Richter's my favorite Belmont, and you know, he was one of the characters I played a lot in Smash Bros. Ultimate. I love Rondo Blood. Even though Maria does make the game easier, I really just enjoy playing as both of them. I really enjoy playing as both of them. But yeah, I'll admit, yeah, this is gonna be very strange because the only games that he's in is in Rondo Blood and Symphony of the Night, which, same thing with, which one was it exactly? I can't remember. Oh yeah, Devil May Cry 3. If I do play Symphony of the Night again, I actually would like to play the game as Richter. He looks really nice in Symphony of the Night. And honestly, I actually got pretty upset that he was just kind of reduced to being brainwashed in that game. But I think, I would say because, man, this is gonna be so weird. I have to think about this. Because I really just don't want this because... I really don't want this to be the case because of just the song. Like I said, I will probably add, you know, I might have to add some characters on the top 10 because some of them are capable of it. This might be a crazy thing, but it might actually be in my top 10. I really like Richter, but I think it's because of the song, his theme song. I feel like I am cheating with that. Like, I don't want to count songs, but it's like in my top 10 favorite video game songs ever, and he's just such a cool character. So he might be top 10. At the very least, he's like right here, but he could be up here. Like, it's hard to say. Like, if I compared him to Donbon, I do like Richter more. If I compared Richter to, like, Espio, I do like Richter more. So, I don't know. Ivan from Golden Sun. Alright, I'll put him right here. He's very cool. Had a, you know, a bit of a crush on him when I played the game. But yeah, he goes right there. And then there's Spider from Mega Man X Command Mission, which might be right here. I don't know. I really do. I do really like him. I don't know. I really do like him, but at the same time, I don't know. I think he might go right there. Spectre Knight. Oh man. I can't remember. There was something about his story that was pretty sad. And I actually really enjoyed his storyline. Was my favorite out of the ones I played in Shovel Knight. And I love his design. I don't know, I guess overall, I guess I could put him right there. Next up is Diddy Kong. Kind of going back and forth. I don't know if he should be up there or right here. Might at the very least be right here, but I've always loved Diddy Kong. Like, I definitely like him more than Lanky, but I've always liked Dixie Kong a lot more than Diddy. Oh my gosh. Alright, I guess I'll have to go into this character. Alright, so I kind of feel like I messed this up because, just a heads up, Vivian is in my top 100 favorite video game girls, and Vivian's a trans character. Vivian's a boy, but is, you know, trans. Basically a trans girl character. I messed up because Forest, I think, is the same thing. I think Forest is supposed to be trans. And I kind of broke the rule and just kind of put Forrest as a guy on here, and I'm just like, whatever. Sorry, Forrest. But oh man, this one's gonna be a hard one because I actually had a bit of a crush on him when I played Fire Emblem Conquest. And Forrest was like one of those characters that, which character was it before? Can't even remember. Well, anyway, yeah, Forrest was probably one of the earliest signs of, how do I put this? I've kind of went through, like, I've questioned about my sexuality. Not my sexuality, what, is that the word? Sexuality? Not my, like, well, actually, I don't know. Forrest was like a combination of, like, questioning my sexuality as well as my, like, questioning about gender identity. Because it's like, on one hand, I liked the idea of a guy that looked feminine for me, but at the same time, I also liked a guy that looked feminine. So yeah, Forrest was definitely one of the earliest examples of kind of questioning about, like, things. This might be kind of weird, but I guess due to, you know, Forrest definitely had more of an impact on me than Ivan, so I actually put Forrest in the love him tier. I am biased for these feminine guys, I'm sorry. Like, I'm talking real feminine, like Cecil looks feminine, but that's just a straight up girl, but is actually a guy. His daddy's not proud of him either, but he still loves him. Magma Dragoon! Alright, I'm gonna be biased again. I actually took major inspiration from this robot, and you know, he's actually one of the more interesting ones, because he actually was a good guy, like, or he came off as a good guy, but then was revealed he was working for Sigma, and you know, it's actually one of the only robots, one of the only Mavericks, like 8 Mavericks in the X series, that it's actually quite a bit going on. And it's cool, he's based off of Kuma with his moveset, and he's a freaking dragon, and I took inspiration of him for my own race in my series, so... Plus, he's arguably my favorite robot, he's my favorite Maverick out of the bunch. Like, Magnus Centipede is my favorite in design, but in terms of overall, yeah, I think Magma Dragoon goes up there. Next up is, alright, Ken. Ken's really cool. I like Ken more than Ryu. However, I don't know, like, would he go up here or here? That's the question. The answer is, I don't know. Because dang, there are a lot of guys that are just in the really like tier. Although some of these characters I could arguably put them up there. Also, we're on the final stretch, boys. Yeah, I might have to organize this, but... Oh shoot, I just realized something. Ah crap, I put really some of the characters you didn't realize I put up there because you can't see them. Irvine, I'm just gonna do it right now. He's right here. Yeah, it's like, he could arguably be my top 100 because I do really like Irvine, but I definitely knew when I added him, I was like, I know that he's arguably on here or not. Same thing, another character, Kopin. I do like Kopin, but I kind of just added him because I was just like, yeah, I really like him. Is he my top 100? Probably not, but I do really like him. So there's that. Alright, Katsuya. This one's a weird one, because it's like he was my favorite character, but at the same time he's not. At least when I played Eternal Punishment, he was my favorite. So, how do I put... Like, the fact that I liked him just as much as Maya and Ulala, that's really saying something, because I love those two characters. So I honestly just want to put him up there because the fact that if I liked him as much as those two, he has to be up there. I have to go by how he felt 8 years ago. Leon! Yeah, Leon from Star Ocean. I remember at first I was trying to think of, like, is there any guy characters I really like in Star Ocean? And I was like, I guess not. Like, sadly, I'm trying to remember his name. Is having trouble. Can't remember his name. Dang it, I'm having trouble. If I think enough, then I would. But then when I went back thinking about, like, okay, let me look at all these games again. Okay, Star Ocean again. I can't think of any characters. And then I was like, oh my god, Leon. How could I forget about Leon? I will admit, in terms of playing as Leon, he definitely wasn't that useful. Because it's just... He wasn't that useful, but I still played as him. Still for a lot of the game, because I was really interested in him. I would actually say out of Leon and Rena, I think I like both of them equally, but I think Leon might go right there. And then there's Snake, which, yeah, compared to like these characters, I don't like Snake as much, but he can definitely belong in this tier. Klonoa. This one's gonna be okay, this might be a strange one, but I actually put him up here. He's like one of my favorite video game guy character designs. I always loved his design since I was a kid. I've only played 2 Klonoa games so far, but I absolutely love his design a lot. It is so cool. Although I will admit I'm not as fond of his Klonoa 2 design. Actually, now that I think about it, a lot of the Klonoa... I'm trying to think of which ones... It's specifically his original design. I love it so much. Alright, next up is Olimar, which... I was kind of questioning if he would be my top 100, but he is. I actually do really like Olimar. He was actually one of my mains in Smash Bros. Brawl. Oh, great. Everything's getting really full. Gunvolt. Alright, fine again. He's in the really like tier. Other characters in the really like. But again, some characters I can arguably put in the very cool, but then some characters I can also arguably put up there. But then some characters already have to move up there anyways. Gunvolt. Yeah, he goes in the... great, now everything's a mess again. Alright. Yeah, it's the last 3. Nothing special. Well, I don't know. This one's gonna be a silly one, but I'm actually gonna put him up here because he's in he's the main character in one of my favorite games ever. And I like his different armors. And he's just a badass looking dude with that armor. And that is literally it. It's silly. Navarre. Oh boy, see, I'm having to go by my memory, but he was actually my favorite character in... Well, not my... Okay, aside from Dogda, he was like my favorite character in that game for some reason. I don't know why. Again, it's been like almost 8 years, but at least if I have to go by memory, yeah, Navarre was like one of my favorites. And then Sirius from Bomberman 64. To tell you the truth, these 3 characters, I was like kind of running out of like, okay, what characters do I really like that could maybe be on here? And the issue is that I do really like Sirius's design, but it's like, I feel like I'm kind of pushing it. But Sirius kind of feels more fitting right there. Okay. Dang it. Can't even see much of that tier anymore. Alright, and then Twink. Again, just for very weird reasons, I would actually put Twink in the Love Him tier. Just because for some reason Twink was one of my favorite characters in Paper Mario, and I do have like a lot of connections with Twink. Does this even make any sense to put Twink above any of these characters? I don't know. And then, if you don't know who this is actually the main character in Blaster Master, and it being my favorite game, my dad's favorite game, and because, you know, I do really like Blaster Master, and that this character does have a big connection for, you know, all of this and that, I will go as far to say that I do put him in the very cool because of that connection. He's cool. Alright, that's it. My god. And the worst part is, I only have 7 on here. Ugh. The fact that I kind of couldn't even think of 3 more, that's pretty sad. All right, I'm just going to have to think about this. Like, who could be the last 3? Damn, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Because some characters absolutely not. Like, I would say this whole bottom row, like this whole row, no, absolutely not. They're not in my top 10. So then it kind of comes down to these characters. like, if I had to say out of Mega Man.exe, Proto Man, and Bass, like, yeah, Proto Man is my favorite. Because I've always loved him when I was a kid. Just with toys, and always thought he was a cool character. So it's really strange, but yeah, I can put him in my top 10. I really do love Proto Man. Even a bit more than Bass. I wouldn't put Bass in my top 10. Like, with Proto Man at least, it's like, okay, going by, like, certain combinations of things of my history with him, sure. Again, that's pretty sad. Like, top 10 favorite guy characters for me to say that. It's pretty sad. But trust me, with the girl characters, it's going to be tough too, because I've never went any further than my top 3 favorites, so I wouldn't be surprised if I struggle with that too. What about my other character? Alright, fine. I'll put Gino up here. Just because I really do love his moves. I love it just really boils down to that. And you know, Gino can hold his own with some of these characters. I don't know why it's so hard to rank guys for some reason. But again, this I think one of the reasons why this is so hard to do, because they're video game characters. I'm having to compare characters that are just either silent or they were only in like one game and stuff. And you know, compared to with the anime tier list, it was a lot easier to do. But with this one, it's just like the logic for some of these characters are just very like, how do I do this? It's just too weird to think Bowser would be in my top 10 because just there's too many games with him in it, and some of these games are just, it's just too strange. I don't know, if I have to I have to put Link on here. It's just such a safe bet because it's specifically Toon Link. The Link from like that specific era with Link. I love his design. I like him in pretty much all the games. I'm okay with this. And besides, just Link in general, like, yes. So Proto Man, Toon Link, 3, 6, 9. And only one more. All I can say is no, 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 no. Who's gonna be at the 10th slot? It's not Vivi. I'm not picking base. I already added 2 Mega Man characters. I'm sorry, I really can't trust me getting a strike for this. Well, to be fair, trying to find the 10th one has always been difficult trying to do, but it's not a matter, like, here's the thing, it's more the fact that, like, okay, with the female anime girl tier list, it was like a 3-way tie, because any of them I would have wanted to put in my top 10. The male characters, it was like, you know, Yugi could have been a, you know, top 10 contender, but I was having to contemplate with Yugi or another character and possibly a couple other characters. With this one, it's more the fact that it's not like there's not really a character where I feel comfortable putting them in my top 10. There's only one character, and it's Bowser, but it doesn't feel right because it's like I don't like the idea of adding him like all of the Bowsers. If I'm allowed, like, okay, look, if I'm allowed to count Bowser for like the ones I like him in, even though that might be cheating, then it's like, okay, if we're talking about Bowser from like Bowser's Life Story and Paper Mario, then yeah, I do, but that's just so weird, man. Yeah, kind of sucks that this list is kind of turning out like last time, where my brain is just starting to shut down and kind of want to wrap things up, and I'm not going to want to tidy things up just to keep track of, because it's just kind of stressing my brain. It sucks, but you know, I guess I'll put Bowser. That is such a stupid answer. Like, in terms of love them, base, yes, 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 yes. It's weird, but yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. All for specific reasons. And I would say for arguably on here, I'm okay. I would say I'm okay with this overall. For really, like, it's a bit tricky because I'm trying to look and think like, okay, yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's complicated, but I guess, yeah, yeah. It's hard to say. It's like some of these characters just feel like they should go up there, but then some of these characters feel like they should go up there. I'll put him up there. I really like Kazuya. I love the artwork of him. For some reason I'm growing to like him more. It just, I keep telling, my mind keeps saying like, put him up there please. And again, some of the other characters are like these four, but I don't know if I don't think I want to put Nahobino up there. If I had to put another one, I guess Batty, because Batty's up there with Ganon. It's like at best, Batty's better than Ganon, but consistently Ganon's better. So I guess I'm willing to put, because I guess out of the four, I'm more willing to give Batty this shot. And then I guess to add a bit more, I could argue up here. Yeah, I feel like this is the best I can really do. It's like I can just simply say that, you know, these characters, I could, I guess, be confident that they're in my top 10. Well, actually, I don't know. It's like the only characters I knew for a fact were these four. And then these two, when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, they're top 10. Maybe these four were a stretch. It's just kind of hard to think of any other character. Like, you know, Bass has potential. Ganon has potential. Megaman.exe. But it's just hard because some of these characters in the Love 'em tier is only like in one game. Galactonite, Pharaoh Man, sort of, Cafe, Forest, Twink, Character Lords of Thunder. What? There's just too many characters that are only in one game. And it's kind of hard to rank them. But yeah, I guess like Bowser, literally Bowser can be switched with a lot of characters, but this was like this for the other tier list. I'll at least say with at least these 9. At least with those 9. They work enough. Oh wait, I have to do it in order? Oh man, I don't even want to do it in order. Because I like nostalgia for him compared to the other characters. Alright, this is more or less it. Happy. So, I don't know. It's like overall this tier I'm okay with. This one I'm kind of mixed. I think overall, I think most of them are fine. I think most of them are fine, but some characters I keep thinking if maybe they could be on really cool. You know, like, how do I put this? A few I feel like could be on very cool, but then I feel like a couple could be up here. Really, the only two I keep thinking of was Wes and Snake Man. And then some of these characters I keep looking at is characters like Quote or I don't know, like Shadow or something. Kind of sad that 44 out of the 100 characters are on the bottom tier list, which means like, yeah, well, to be fair, this is like a small one. Man, I really rushed it because I realized that the first half I went through it in like 2 hours, and then the second half I went through it in like half the time because I was really having to get through it. But like, I don't know, it kind of sucks that I was kind of struggling on who were like the last, like, you know, 3, but obviously some of the best on there is definitely Zero, Meta Knight, Sonic, Dante, and Luigi, and characters like, you know, yeah, even Strider as well. Richter, yeah. Yeah, here's all the characters. Like I said, in the end, I think I'm overall okay with this tier. I'm fine with this tier overall. Like I said, it's like it's hard to kind of think of what other characters I could have picked. Again, don't get me wrong. Pretty much all the characters that you like. Again, I do really like all these characters. I do really like all of these characters, and I do really like all these characters too. And of course, I do really like. Well, I can't say really like because again, some of these you get the point. And then with this, I think it's just the issue is that once you get to like this point, they just start to feel close to that, but then at the same time, it's always confusing. so in short, a few characters, I think like maybe 2 to 3 characters could have been up here, and then like, you know, a couple characters could have been up here, and that's kind of what it boils down to. I think a few characters could have possibly gone up here, and then like these 2 could have possibly have gone up there. Even though in my head it does feel like characters like Saber and Vincent should be in the Love Them tier. Or Diddy Kong. It's like, again, some of these characters feel like they should be on the Love Them tier. And then some characters like, you know, Cloud and Quote. And just, you know, feel like some of the characters just feel like it should be higher. I don't know if I'm just being picky or not. I'm not sure. But that's about it. I do wonder if the female video game girl tier list, I'll be... Like, you might say, well, will I be more excited for it? No, because I was actually more curious about my male tier list. I think it's just because I'm tired, and I feel like just like with the girls one, I'm just going to have a lot of trouble on how I'm supposed to rank some of these characters. But at the very least, I could say that I do really like all these characters, and aside from questioning Bowser being in my top 10, and, you know, a couple of characters might be added into Love Them, and like a few characters being added to Very Cool. Other than that, I think this tier is satisfactory. I keep hearing this song a lot, huh? Alright, I don't know when I'll do the next tier list. I definitely don't want to do it right now. I probably am not going to do it until next week, because I feel a little tired now after making this, and I need to focus on doing some other things. Because I did this because I didn't want to read or play a game. Well, I not play games right now, like draw or anything, but this is my one excuse. So yeah, I'm tired now. I'm gonna go to bed shortly after this. Good night, or good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Goodbye.